Hello, my friend, and welcome to another Mind Stiller. From my heart to your heart. And you can see the sun is not shining so brightly as it usually is during our time together. It's dusk where I am. The sun is setting. The earth is still, ready to sleep. Places on the earth are crying and grieving and in deep sadness. And individuals who live in places where the sun is shining are also filled with anxiety and fear. There's a lot of challenges these days, even for those of us who pride ourselves in surrounding ourselves and all of creation with as much light and as much positivity as we can. These are very challenging times, but not hopeless. I want to share with you that out of the darkness, out of the deepest, most abysmal forms of fear, come cracks where the light pierces and arrives in our hearts and our minds and our spirits and lifts us up no matter how far down we think we have gone, and know how terrible and atrocious and horrendous that we think others have behaved against us, against our loved ones, against all of humanity. There is a reason for it. It's the swing of the pendulum of evolution. Things always get really tough before there's a breakthrough, before there's a climb out of the pit of agony. There have always been historical moments where the darkness just seems impenetrable. But yet, throughout the history of recorded civilization as we know it, these times have served a purpose. Like, for instance, the Middle Ages, when people could barely read and be articulate, and they gave all their power to the priest and the ones who had said they had the knowledge, and they would not let the common people have the ability to read and to be educated because they were into control. And then what happened? The Renaissance. The Renaissance, where the blossoming of humankind's desire to create and to break free of the restraints of the Middle Ages, the Dark Ages they're called. That's what happened as a result of many, many challenging moments, including what we know as the Black Plague and the Inquisition, all those terrible things that happened. They had to be in our history. Every single step along the way had to be in the history of our blended human family. And for my own life also, I can say, every moment of agony, every grieving and feeling of sadness and despair brought me closer and closer to that crack, that crevice in my own psyche, in my own mind, in my soul, in my spirit, just like it's happening for many people. And that crack was when I was laid humble and vulnerable. And then the truth of the magic of life and the ever-present guidance of unseen forces became true in my life, because I came to a point where I just had to surrender to something much, much, much bigger than anything, than myself or any government or any religion or any power that I had known. And it all came from within me, my consciousness awakening. And I truly do believe, and I think you do too, or else you would not be listening to these mind stillers of mine, that the reason that we are all subjected to these horrendous things that bring us to the brink of insanity is because humankind is being spiritualized right now, right this moment. And you are part of it, and I am part of it. And it is a huge force of awakening that is occurring because of the amount of testing darkness and people acting badly, and even the natural forces, the pandemic, the floods, the fires, the hurricanes, the wildfires, see, everything. Everything is leading us to find that tiny little crevice in the darkness. It's like being inside of a cave. Sometimes life feels like that, and we don't want to think that that is life. That's just a phase. And if we stay there with our eyes wide open and we're awakened to, oh, the myriad possibilities around us, we see that crack, that tiny crack that allows the light to come through. And we reach for it, and we nurture it, and we bring it into our heart, and we let it rest there, and we welcome it with truth and with love, because that is love. That light that permeates the darkness is love. It's the opposite of fear. So please, my friend, do not despair. Do not ever give up. This is perhaps a moment of darkness like none of us have ever experienced, but there is a reason for it, and we together are becoming spiritualized and coming out of the gluey, gooey gunk of being just material beings. And we're being forced to realize that the spiritual life is the most important life there is. And the sooner you can understand that and grasp that and live that with joy, no matter what your circumstances are, the more you will enjoy this experience called life. Don't despair. Don't give up. Just surround yourself with high-minded people, high vibrations, high feeling music and art and dancing and poetry and nature, and feel connected to this earth as we go through the transformative evolution of our species from Homo sapiens, which is supposedly wise, we're not very wise sometimes, to our true nature, Homo spiritus. And this is my truth, and I'm sharing it with you with all honesty and earnestness because it is true for me. And if it's not true for you, then I urge you to spend a lot of time being quiet and going within and following your breath. Your beautiful breath is the best guide there is. Breathing in and out, and let your breath take you to that place of secure safety and connection with all that is consciousness. Never give up. Never ever give up. Om Namah Shivaya. We are one. We are one and we are all together. Consciousness.